All right, guys, welcome into a way too early 2024 NFL draft where I will be going through the entire draft and making every team's first round pick. Now, just looking at the overall positions, they've got Chicago at number one, Houston at number two. I think I'm probably going to have to change it. I certainly do not think Chicago will be drafting number one. So we will go ahead and what we will do is I think if they had the number one pick, they would trade it again. Or actually, you know what? At that point, if they have the number one pick again, they're probably going to have to replace Justin Fields. But we will go ahead and trade that. And the team I'm looking to possibly get Caleb Williams is Tampa Bay. It just feels like Tampa Bay is setting up for a big tank, and they'll have like a top 5 pick next year. They've got Kyle Trask, they've got Baker Mayfield. They really don't have anyone in terms of like their quarterbacks. I think they're going to try and lose next season, and then we will just trade up. I mean, we'll have to give them whatever just to make sure this thing gets accepted. It doesn't really matter. But so Tampa Bay drafting number one overall. They will select Caleb Williams. Houston at number two. You would have to think with CJ Stroud, if they're picking high, it's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr., the super receiver from Ohio State, who just had a great year with CJ Stroud. Arizona at number three. You know, if this happens, I do think they would go Drake May. I don't think they would pass up on a franchise quarterback. I don't know what they would do with Kyler Murray, honestly. But realistically, I do think that they're probably not going to give up on Kyler yet. They really can't because he's got that contract. So I'm actually going to have Arizona, trading this pick, I think, to a team that possibly will be bad enough to draft Drake May. So we will have Arizona trading with, what team do I want to give Drake May to? We will give Drake May to the Rams. And maybe this doesn't happen, but I do think Sean McVay is a good fit with Drake May. So we will just have them trading up and drafting Drake May at number three. At number four, it's Indianapolis. So, at this point next year, I would say Indianapolis. What happens with the receivers? Michael Pittman, do they want a number one receiver? Or, would they look at someone like Brock Bowers? I think they'll go Joe Alt, who's a really good offensive tackle from Notre Dame at number four. Best player available, solidify the offensive line, help Anthony Richardson out. You've already got Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. They might go receiver, but I'll give them Alt, the franchise left tackle. Now it's Denver at number five. So Denver, you're thinking that Russell Wilson will turn it around this year. Wait, is Denver has a first-round pick? I thought they traded their first-round pick. Maybe they haven't. I thought they traded it for Russell Wilson. But with Denver, I think they take, where is he located at? I think someone like JT Tuimoloau, who's actually a lot better than this rank at 24. So is this kid, Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's probably going to be a top 10 pick as well. But we will have JTT going to the Denver Broncos. That's a generational defensive tackle who would be amazing in a 3-4 defense as a down lineman. He's a really, really good fit in a 3-4. He's, kind of a very nice hybrid pass rusher / defensive tackle, almost Aaron Donald type hybrid, but maybe not as heavy as Aaron Donald. At number 6, Arizona, so they traded back, I think. Yeah, so Arizona might be drafting number 6, and I'm going to give them Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is the best tight end prospect we've seen in a while. They're probably going to stick with Kyler Murray. They're probably trading DeAndre Hopkins. They get Brock Bowers. I don't know if they would give up on Trey McBride this fast. Maybe they would take a receiver. but we're going to give them Bowers. Next, we're on to Vegas. I'm guessing best player available for Vegas, very likely. They did just draft, Tyree Wilson, so we're going to go with the offensive tackle from Penn State, who very easily could have been a top 10 pick this year. They could have picked an offensive lineman last night in Soronsky. They didn't pick him, so I think they will solidify the offensive line. And Jimmy G, I think still will have 2 years left on his deal, so maybe not a quarterback. Atlanta at number 8. So this is where it gets interesting. I think Atlanta might be interested in a quarterback, and I am going to have them taking Quinn Ewers, who's kind of the wild card, former number 1 overall prospect. He's got all the tools. He'll probably move up pretty significantly in the draft process and things like that, but he is ranked in the 50s right now. Next, it is Chicago. So Chicago moved down. So now Chicago picking... Who do I think Chicago should take? I'm probably say best player available for Chicago overall. We're going to end up giving them Jared Verse, who's a nice edge rusher from Florida State. Probably would have been a first-round pick this past year. I don't know if I believe Verse is going to be a top 10 pick, but right now we'll give them Jared Verse. At number 10, it is New Orleans, and we're going to have the Saints... Dallas Turner is an interesting option here, for sure, for the Saints. Yeah, we're going to give the Saints Dallas Turner. Oh, wait, I picked the wrong player. Whoops. So I guess the Saints are getting the safety from Georgia. At number 11, Tennessee. What do they do with quarterback? I don't know. Maybe they're thinking of drafting Will Levis tonight. But if they don't pick him, you could be looking at a Bo Nix type. You could be looking at best player available. This team, we really don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to say they take Dallas Turner at number 11 there. Now we're on to Houston at number 12, who already got Marvin Harrison Jr. They've got the Browns pick again. So I'll probably just go best player available, but a defensive player for Houston. And the player that I'm looking at, yes, this cornerback to pair with Derek Stingley. That would be very impressive as long as Stingley is healthy. McKinstry. Number 13, the Jets are on the clock. With the Jets, maybe, I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. They're probably going to have to start looking at a future quarterback. I'm going to say the Jets take Jack Sawyer, who's very similar to, Brian Bresee, where he's a highly thought of prospect, but he's been injured. Next, we have the New England Patriots. I think Emeka Egbuka is a great fit. A no-nonsense receiver. A player that certainly would fit with Bill Belichick. He wants to win. He doesn't really care about targets or anything like that. Next, you have the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers just refuse to draft an offensive player. I mean, at some point, they're going to have to. And I think Xavier Worthy is worthy of being a top 15 pick, possibly a number 1 receiver in the NFL, and that's good value for Green Bay there. They're going to eventually need a number 1 receiver, but they might also need a quarterback if Jordan Love ends up busting. Next, it is the Commanders. So with the Commanders, I do think they might take a quarterback. They might be picking a lot higher than this, but I will give them Bo Nix at number 16. At number 17, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for the Steelers, I think what I'm going to do, we're going to have to see what they do tonight, but I think what I'll do with the Steelers is give them Smith from LSU, who might be a top 10 pick himself, but I will give them him. At number 18, it is the Detroit Lions. God knows what the Detroit Lions are going to do nowadays. Holy crap. Xavier Thomas. I'm surprised Xavier Thomas. We're going to give the Detroit Lions an interior defensive lineman, Leonard Taylor, the former top 3 recruit. He's a beast. We're going to give him them. And then we have the Chicago Bears back on the clock. They're going to go best player available, but this time I think they probably go offense. And really help Justin Fields out again, getting an interior offensive lineman, Colby from Iowa, really to solidify it for Justin Fields. Maybe they go receiver there. But next it is Seattle on the clock. Seattle, do they need a quarterback? Maybe. You know what? We're going to give them the quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, as their future replacement for Geno Smith. And now it is the Chargers who very likely will be drafting defense. We're going to go best player available, Michael Hall, kind of an interesting hybrid defensive tackle who does pressure the quarterback and can get sacks. Now it's the Baltimore Ravens. So for the Ravens, probably just best player available here. I mean, it's tough to predict these things this far out at this point. We're going to go Tyleik Williams, another interior defensive lineman there. Minnesota picking at 23. This could be a spot they take a quarterback. There's really no quarterbacks left, but we're actually going to go Kyle McCord. It kind of feels like, with Ryan Day, he always produces first-round picks. So, how about Sam Hurd at Cal Poly now, the former 5-star? That's crazy. But, yeah, I think Kyle McCord, he's going to be like a fringe first-round guy if he decides to come out. Maybe he'll stay at Ohio State for his senior season. But he's definitely a guy where if you're Ryan Day, we know he produces so many first-round picks. At number 24, it is the Jaguars. So the Jaguars, I am looking at... Oh, no, they don't need a tight end. Yeah, I'm probably going to look at a defensive player for the Jaguars here, very likely. Who do they have at running back? Who does Jacksonville... We're going to give them Trevion Henderson. We're going to go with a running back, Trevion Henderson to Jacksonville. Oh, they do have Travis Etienne. Well, maybe they can coexist. Yeah, but I don't think... that was probably a bad pick by me if they have Etienne. But Etienne's not a workhorse, so maybe they do go Trevion Henderson. The Giants at 25, they really need a receiver. And I like this kid from Washington. This is like a possession receiver. He reminds me a lot of like JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I'm going to go Rome Ozunu at number 25. At number 26, it is Dallas. You would think they would probably look at a tight end. What is this? I'm not even sure. I think it's glitched. Guys, I don't know what just happened. I think, okay, so it still is showing it. But it's like, see how I don't know who this dude is. Do I have to draft him to remove the glitch? Maybe I have to well, that didn't work. Okay, 27, it's Buffalo. So you just have to kind of scroll down. Yes, we're going to give them the safety from Clemson. Yes. 28, it's Cincinnati. I would say Denzel Burke. I would say they go cornerback here with Denzel Burke. They got Myles Murphy. They're probably, unless they trade T. Higgins, they might try and draft a receiver. I think they'll go cornerback. Now San Francisco, they actually have their first-round pick. You're probably looking at best player available. I would say someone like Bryce Foster, the interior offensive lineman. Philadelphia at number 30. They do not need an interior defensive lineman. We know that. Certainly, they just drafted 2 of them in back-to-back drafts. Philadelphia, I think no, they don't need that either. We'll give them an offensive tackle from Kansas State, BB. And then you have Kansas City at 31, J.C. Latham. He'll probably go a lot higher than that for sure. And then at 32, we have Miami picking at 32. And I am going to go with the former number 1 overall recruit. I also love Donovan Jackson. I think Donovan Jackson's going to be a first-round pick, but I am going to go with Corey Foreman. And unfortunately, I don't think we can have a full view of this. Yeah, they're not allowing me. Can we save this and see the full version of it? Okay, there we go. So here it is right here, guys. This is the full version. I did do some trades just because I didn't think the order was good. You've got Caleb Williams. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake May at number 3 to the Rams. You've got Joe Alt, the franchise left tackle for, Anthony Richardson, JT Tuimoloau, Brock Bowers, the offensive tackle from Penn State, Fashana. You've got Quinn Ewers at number 8 as kind of a wild card. Jared Verse. This was actually a mistake pick here to the Saints. Dallas Turner, and just some other players going down the list. My favorite fit is Emeka Egbuka to New England. Xavier Worthy to Green Bay is a good fit. Smith to Pittsburgh is a good fit. Leonard Taylor and Aiden Hutchinson. Wow, that is amazing. But that is just kind of the players I went with. Corey Foreman might be a steal late in this draft, but I do think he's going to move up boards pretty significantly in terms of that. And then this one, I would just disregard this. It was a glitch. I tried to fix it. It didn't work. But either way, Kyle McCord, it seems like a good fit in Minnesota. Yes, this is some projection. Michael Penix Jr. stays home and goes to Seattle, from Washington. Bo Nix goes to the Commanders. Bo Nix and Sam Howell are like the same player, though. That is funny. I don't think the Jets would draft Jack Sawyer. They drafted Will McDonald. Yeah, I don't think they would do that. But either way, this might end up. Some of these may end up being right. We'll have to see, guys. It's just a fun little exercise. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.